Sir, we're just here to check on you. Your family called.
I'm fine, you can go.
Can you step outside for a minute just to talk?
I'd rather not.
Son, it's just a wellness check. 5 minutes.
I said no, please leave my property.
We're not leaving until we know you're all right. Open the door.
I said no, please leave my property. Officer Daniels paused. Huh, okay, sure, look, we're not leaving until we see you're all right. Open the door. Then Matthew said something that changed everything. You're not coming in here, none of you are. Officer Daniels had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 72 hours, police would evacuate an entire neighborhood. A SWAT team would surround a $14 million mansion. News helicopters would circle for 3 straight days. The quiet young man behind that door was Matthew Winslow. He was the only heir to a $4.2 billion drug company fortune. What the officers could not see were the 47 guns inside, military rifles, reinforced steel doors, security cameras watching every approach. Matthew had spent 8 months turning his family's estate into a fortress. He spent over $600,000 preparing for a war only he believed was coming. And the police body cameras were recording everything. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever watched someone you love slowly lose touch with reality? Drop your answer in the comments. To understand what happened that day, you need to know who Matthew Winslow used to be. His grandfather started Winslow Pharmaceuticals in 1962. The company made billions. Matthew's father, Richard, ran it. His mother, Catherine, was a former model who gave millions to charity. Matthew was born in 1992. He grew up in Connecticut, private schools, summer homes in Europe, everything money could buy. He went to Phillips Exeter Academy, then Princeton University. He graduated in 2014 with a degree in economics. After college, he worked at Goldman Sachs. 8 months later, he quit. Nobody knew why. At 24, Matthew joined his family's company board. Newspapers called him the perfect heir. He showed up at charity events. He made the 30 under 30 lists. He had the billion-dollar smile. But something was breaking inside him. Board members noticed strange behavior in meetings. Matthew would accuse people of watching him. He said his emails were being read. By 2020, he had moved to the family's second estate. Alone, his parents divorced in 2021. After that, Matthew stopped seeing anyone. Now here's what you need to understand. The warning signs were there for years, but nobody connected the dots until it was almost too late. The Winslow family had more money than most people can imagine. They could afford the best doctors, the best help. So why did nobody stop what was coming? In 2019, Matthew accused a business partner of spying on him. The family paid money to make it go away quietly. In 2020, Matthew started posting strange things online, posts about government watching him, about enemies everywhere. The posts got deleted within hours, but people saw them. Then the staff started leaving. His personal assistant quit. Matthew had accused her of reporting his movements to someone. He fired his housekeeper for moving his things around. Then came the guns. In 2021, Matthew bought his first firearm, a hunting rifle, legal. Then he bought 5 more, then 10, then 30, then 47, all legal purchases. Nobody flagged it. His father flew in to talk to him. Matthew would not see him. His mother called every week. By early 2022, Matthew stopped answering. The family hired a psychiatrist named Dr. Alina Vance. She had 20 years of experience treating mental illness. Matthew went to 3 sessions, then he accused her of working with his father. He never went back. Let me know in the comments, should families have the power to force adult children to get mental health help? This is important. The security company Matthew hired said his requests were unusual. Blast-proof windows, motion sensors everywhere, rooms for storing thousands of bullets. They did the work anyway. His neighbors noticed the mail piling up, delivery drivers getting turned away, the lawn growing wild. Everyone saw pieces of the puzzle. Nobody put them together, not until February 14th. It was Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. The time was 2:47 in the afternoon. Matthew's mother, Catherine, had not heard from her son in 3 weeks. All his staff were gone. She was scared, so she called the police. Officers Daniels and Rodriguez got the call, a routine wellness check. They expected it to take 20 minutes. They arrived at the Winslow estate at 3:12 p.m., 18 acres of land, a huge iron gate, security cameras everywhere. Officer Daniels pressed the intercom button. 4 minutes passed, then Matthew answered. You heard that conversation at the start. Matthew was calm but firm. He would not open the gate. He would not open the door. He would not step outside. The officers looked at each other. This was not normal, but Matthew had not broken any laws. They could not force their way in. Then Officer Rodriguez noticed something. Through a window, he could see a wall of security monitors, dozens of camera feeds, every angle of the property covered. Murder. Hugh's voice came through the intercom again. I know what you're really here for. Tell them I'm not leaving. The officers backed away. They called their supervisor. This was not a standard check anymore. If stories about mental health and family struggles matter to you, hit that subscribe button now. This story is just getting started. Sergeant Morrison arrived at 4:15 p.m. He tried talking to Matthew through the intercom. Matthew answered once, then he went silent. The police used special cameras that detect body heat. They saw one person inside. They also saw something else, metal signatures throughout the house, lots of them, too many to count. At 5:30 p.m., they made the call. SWAT team requested. The tactical team arrived at 6:45 p.m., 22 officers, armored vehicles, a mobile command center. They set up outside the gate. Then they started evacuating the neighborhood. 47 homes, every family within 500 yards had to leave. They had 30 minutes to pack. The crisis negotiator was LT Sandra Chen. She had handled dozens of standoffs. She called the house phone. Matthew answered. He spoke for 90 seconds, then he hung up. You don't understand, he had said. They've been planning this. You're just the beginning. LT Chen took a breath. This was not someone trying to hurt people. This was someone who believed he was defending himself. By 9 p.m., Matthew's mother arrived at the command post. She begged to talk to her son. The police said no, too dangerous. This isn't my son, Catherine said. Something happened to him. By 10 p.m., the first news helicopter appeared, then more. The story went local, then national. At midnight, Matthew turned off all the lights inside. The heat cameras showed him moving room to room, checking every window, never sleeping. LT Chen made her report. He's not panicking, he's following a plan. 12 hours in, no shots fired, no demands made. Matthew was not trying to negotiate, he was waiting. But waiting for what? Type waiting in the comments if you want to know what happened next. The next 36 hours would push everyone to their limit. Dawn came on day 2. Matthew had not slept. Then he broke his silence. He called LT Chen and talked for 22 minutes straight. He spoke about being watched his whole life, about his family betraying him, about cameras in his walls recording everything. LT Chen listened. She did not argue, she just let him talk. Later she said he was making sense in his own mind. He believed every word. He was not evil, he was terrified. 10 minutes after the call, something slid under the front door. A robot retrieved it. Papers, 47 pages. It was a document Matthew had written. In it, he named his enemies, family members, business partners, government agencies. He called them all part of a group watching him. He included screenshots of normal emails, but he had circled certain words. He believed they were secret codes, messages about him. The police brought in Dr. Rebecca Torres. She was a psychiatrist who works with law enforcement. She had 15 years of experience with cases like this. She read the document. Her conclusion was clear. This is likely untreated schizophrenia, Dr. Torres said. He has probably had it for years. He is not a terrorist. He genuinely believes he is in danger. But wait, there's more to this story. By now, the news had given Matthew a nickname, the billionaire in the bunker. Cable news showed old photos of him at fancy parties, right next to heat camera images of his fortress. People online started arguing. Was he dangerous or sick, entitled or suffering? Nobody could agree. Then Matthew's father arrived. Richard Winslow flew in on his private jet. He demanded to walk up to the house. Police refused. Someone heard Richard say, "This is my fault. I should have made him get help." At the 24-hour mark, police cut the power to the estate. 3 minutes later, the lights came back on. Matthew had a backup generator. His voice came through the intercom. "Nice try, I planned for this." Later, police would learn Matthew had 6 months of food stored inside, water filters, medical supplies. He had prepared to stay for a very long time. At hour 36, Matthew stopped talking completely. The cameras showed him still moving, but he would not answer any calls. For 36 hours, the world watched a man fight an enemy only he could see. But on day 3, everything was about to change. Day 3 began with the sun rising over the mansion. The SWAT officers had changed shifts 3 times. Matthew had not slept in over 60 hours. The heat cameras showed him stumbling now, walking into walls. His body was giving out even if his mind would not stop. Then someone new arrived at the command post. Alexandra Winslow, Matthew's younger sister. She was 28 years old. She had flown overnight from London. "He always answered my calls," she told police, even when he wouldn't talk to anyone else. The police did not want to put her at risk, but they were running out of options. They let her make one phone call. Alexandra talked to Matthew for 47 minutes, the longest conversation of the entire standoff. She did not try to convince him his fears were wrong. She did not argue, she just listened. "Are you scared?" she asked him. "I'm so tired, Lexi," Matthew said, his voice cracked. "I'm so tired of watching, of waiting, they're everywhere." "I know you believe that," Alexandra said gently. "I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm here because I love you." For the first time in 3 days, Matthew cried. Then he asked her something. "Will they hurt me if I come out?" Alexandra looked at the police officers. They shook their heads no. "They won't hurt you," she said. "I promise, I'll be right there with you." Matthew did not agree to surrender, not yet, but something had shifted. Chen could hear it in his voice. At hour 48, Matthew agreed to a test. The police would send food to prove they meant no harm. A drone delivered meals to his balcony. Matthew came outside to get them. It was the first time anyone had seen him in 3 days. The officers who watched through cameras said he looked 20 years older, skinny, pale. His clothes were the same ones from day 1. But he was alive. Hours 50 through 55 brought new sounds from inside, furniture moving, heavy objects being dragged. The SWAT team feared the worst. Was Matthew building more barriers, getting ready for a fight? They would learn the truth later. Matthew was moving his weapons away from the windows, away from the doors. He was not preparing to attack. He was preparing to stop. At hour 60, the standoff commander made an announcement. They would give Matthew 12 more hours. After that, they were going in. Alexandra asked for one more chance to talk to her brother. If you want to see justice in stories like this, hit subscribe now. What happened in the final hours will stay with you. Hour 66. The plan was set. Alexandra would walk to the front door. Medics would wait 50 yards behind her. Police would stay even farther back. Everyone told Alexandra not to do it. It was too risky. Matthew had 47 guns inside. But she had made a promise to her brother. She was not going to break it. Alexandra walked across the property alone. The cameras watched her every step. She reached the front door and knocked. The door opened 6 inches, just enough to see Matthew's face. "You really came," he said. "I told you I would," Alexandra replied. They talked at that door for 20 minutes. The microphones did not pick up everything, but later, Alexandra shared what they said. "He asked me if I thought he was crazy," she said. "I told him I thought he was scared. He said, same thing, isn't it?" At hour 68, Matthew agreed to come out, but he had conditions. First, he wanted to go to a hospital, not jail. Second, he wanted his weapons counted and kept safe. In his mind, they were proof of what people were planning against him. Third, he wanted Alexandra in the ambulance with him. The police agreed to everything. At 4:47 a.m. on day 4, Matthew Winslow stepped outside his fortress. His hands were up. He wore the same clothes from day 1. He had not slept in 72 hours. Alexandra took his arm and walked him to the ambulance. News cameras captured everything. It was silent, almost peaceful. Inside the mansion, police found exactly what Matthew had described. 47 firearms placed in defensive positions, 18,000 rounds of ammunition sorted by size, 28 security monitors in one room, walls covered in photos and string connecting them, maps of who he thought was watching him. But there was something they did not find. No bombs, no traps, no plans to hurt anyone outside. Every preparation Matthew made was to defend himself from an enemy that did not exist. LT Chen spoke to reporters later that morning. In 72 hours, he never pointed a weapon at us. He was not trying to hurt anyone. He was trying to survive something that was not real. Share this video if you think this story matters. The aftermath might surprise you. Matthew went straight to a private hospital. Doctors evaluated him for weeks. The diagnosis was clear: paranoid schizophrenia. It had probably started 5 or more years ago. Left untreated, it got worse and worse. By the end, Matthew truly believed the whole world was trying to hurt him. The doctors also found something else: stimulant drugs in his system. He had been using them to stay awake, to keep watching. That made his condition even worse. Now here is where the story gets complicated. The police wanted to charge Matthew with crimes: unlawful weapons storage, resisting officers, putting the neighborhood in danger. But there was a problem. Matthew never fired a shot. He never threatened anyone directly. He never hurt a single person. Every gun he owned was legal. Every bullet was legal. How do you punish someone for being sick? The court decided Matthew was no. Mentally fit to stand trial. He could not understand the charges against him. Instead, they ordered him to stay in the hospital until doctors said he was better. No criminal trial, no prison time. His weapons were taken away, all 47 of them. They had all been bought legally. In 18 months, Matthew walked into gun stores 47 times. No one ever said no. That fact started a huge debate. Should there be a limit on how many guns one person can buy? Should buying 47 weapons in 18 months trigger an alarm somewhere? Different states have different rules. Matthew's state had no such rule. The standoff cost $2.3 million. Police overtime, SWAT equipment, evacuating 47 families, lost business in the area. The Winslow family quietly paid it all back. The mansion became impossible to sell. Too famous now, too strange. It sits empty today. Matthew's father, Richard, made a public statement. He expressed relief that his son was alive and regret that he had not done more. Matthew's mother, Catherine, became an advocate. She now speaks around the country about mental health funding. She tells everyone who will listen, get help early, do not wait. Matthew's sister, Alexandra, made no public statement, but she visits her brother regularly. She kept her promise. Type family in the comments if you believe family should never give up on each other, even when it is hard. 14 months after the standoff, Matthew gave an interview from his treatment center. His family gave permission to share it. He looked different now, healthier, calmer, but there was sadness in his eyes. I knew, absolutely knew, that something terrible was going to happen, Matthew said. I could see the pattern everywhere. Now they tell me the pattern was not real, but it felt so real. When asked about his fortress, he paused. I was not building a bunker. I was building the only place I felt safe. When your own mind tells you everyone is an enemy, walls are the only friends you have left. He talked about his family too. My father thought money could fix everything. When it could not fix me, it destroyed him. My mother called and called. I thought she was reporting back to them. Alexandra just kept showing up, even when I did not answer. He remembered the standoff clearly. I remember the officers at the door. I remember thinking, this is it. They are finally here. I was almost relieved. The waiting was worse than anything they could do to me. About his recovery, Matthew was honest. I am not cured. Schizophrenia does not go away, but I am stable now. I take my medication every day. I know which thoughts are mine and which ones are the disease. Most days I can tell the difference. His message for others was simple. If someone you love is pulling away from reality, do not wait until they are behind a barricade. Get help. Force help if you have to. I wish someone had forced me. Matthew is still in treatment today. His story raised questions nobody wanted to ask. Matthew's story shows us something uncomfortable. He was rich enough to buy total privacy. That privacy turned into isolation. His isolation fed his illness. His illness made him more isolated, a deadly cycle. He bought 47 weapons legally. No flags, no questions, no limits. He hired security companies that did whatever he paid for. He had doctors he could ignore. Money gave Matthew every advantage except the one he needed, someone who could make him get help. How many Matthews are out there right now, behind their own walls, building their own fortresses? So let me ask you, do we build a world where money can buy total isolation from consequences? Do we wait until someone is behind a barricade to ask if they are okay? Do we call it respecting privacy when we are really just avoiding a hard conversation? Because if we do not fix the gaps that let 47 weapons become a fortress, if we do not make mental health care easier to get and sometimes mandatory, if we do not give families tools to help their loved ones, then we are just waiting for the next Matthew, the next standoff, the next 72 hours where we all hold our breath. Comment below if you believe families should have legal power to force mental health help for adults showing clear warning signs. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button right now. We are going to keep telling these stories. We are going to keep asking the hard questions. We are going to keep demanding better. This is not just about one billionaire's son. This is not just about one mansion. This is about every person slowly losing touch with reality while the people who love them watch through the window. Who saves them when they will not save themselves? See you in the next one.